Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg's decision to drop charges against most of the protesters involved in the anti-Israel demonstrations at Columbia University has sparked significant controversy and outrage among various groups. This article will explore the details of the incident, the reasons behind the decision, and the reactions from different stakeholders. On April 30th, 2024, a group of pro-Palestinian protesters stormed and occupied Hamilton Hall at Columbia University. This action was part of a broader wave of anti-Israel demonstrations on college campuses across the United States, which were in response to the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas. The protesters demanded that the university divest from companies and institutions they believed were profiting from Israeli actions in Palestine. Of the 46 individuals initially arrested and charged with trespassing, Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg's office announced the dismissal of charges against 31 protesters. The primary reason cited for this decision was insufficient evidence to support the cases in court. Prosecutors faced several challenges in building their cases. 1. Limited video evidence. There was minimal video footage available from inside the building where the demonstration occurred. 2. Masked protesters. The demonstrators had obscured their identities by wearing masks, making it difficult to identify specific individuals responsible for any criminal activities. 3. Tampered security cameras. Protesters had interfered with security cameras, further complicating the identification process. 4. Lack of property damage. There were no reports of significant damage inside the building. 5. No prior criminal records. None of the arrested individuals had previous criminal histories. While most charges were dropped, some cases are still being pursued. 1. 6 individuals arrested outside the building still face criminal charges, including 5 charged with second-degree assault, a felony, and 1 facing a misdemeanor charge of criminal possession of a weapon. 2. James Carlson, considered a possible leader of the protests, remains charged with hate crime, assault, and petite larceny for allegedly torching an Israel supporter's flag and hitting the individual with a rock. The decision to drop charges has elicited strong reactions from various quarters, law enforcement, and higher education officials. Many police officers and university administrators expressed frustration and disbelief at the decision. Some argued that the lack of evidence should not have been a barrier to prosecution and that the decision undermines the severity of the incident. Jewish advocates. Members of the Jewish community condemned the decision, with Michael Nussbaum of the Jewish Community Relations Council of New York calling it turnstile justice and a green light for chaos. There are concerns that this decision could embolden further anti-Semitic actions on campus. Activists and protesters gathered outside DA Bragg's office to express their anger over the decision. They labeled it a betrayal and called for federal intervention if Bragg does not prosecute the crimes. Activist Shabbos Kestenbaum emphasized the impact on campus safety and trust. Political figure's former Republican Lee Zeldin of New York strongly criticized Bragg's decision, stating, "There is no justice system when you have Alvin Bragg as prosecutor." He expressed concern about the erosion of campus culture without accountability. This incident is part of a larger trend of protests and tensions on college campuses related to the Israel-Hamas conflict. It has raised questions about the balance between free speech, campus safety, and the rights of all students to feel secure in their educational environment. The decision to drop charges has also reignited debates about the role of law enforcement on college campuses and the appropriate response to student protests. Some argue that the leniency shown in this case could encourage more disruptive demonstrations in the future, while others see it as a necessary protection of students' right to protest. The dropping of charges against Columbia University protesters by DA Alvin Bragg's office has proven to be a contentious decision with far-reaching implications. As universities continue to grapple with protests and political tensions on campus, this case may set a precedent for how similar incidents are handled in the future. The balance between maintaining order, protecting free speech, and ensuring the safety of all students remains a challenging issue for educational institutions and law enforcement alike.